Two guys in particular have waited a very long time for this race, which is the opening European event of the 2023 Formula One season. Due to the postponement of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, it's not as early as they had hoped. But George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, the two Mercedes drivers, have been pleading with their team to provide the significant upgrade kit they've required from the year's beginning. Since its very first run, the Mercedes W14 has shown to be a rather problematic vehicle. The driving position is not especially appealing to the drivers. Their perception is that they are a touch too near to the front axle. All of that has a small amount to do with the weight distribution and general aerodynamic design of the automobile. The team can't do much about that since it's hard to change a monocoque throughout a season. The first pictures of Mercedes' significant alterations to their 2023 Formula One vehicle debuted during the Monaco Grand Prix. Finally, the long-awaited B-spec update took place. Everybody on the grid has been waiting for this significant change, including fans and drivers. Let's find out all we have learned. The side pods mark a departure from Mercedes' trademark slimmed-down design in favor of a more conventional downwashing notion, while certain elements unavoidably stay because it is hard to completely alter essential car architecture at the floor during a racing season. The Mercedes team manager, Toto Wolff, stated that although it is a unique event, there is still an opportunity to learn about the upgrades before the weekend. "We also need to be careful not to draw too many conclusions from this one event," said Wolff. "We are introducing the first step in a new development direction. It won't be a silver bullet. From my experience, they do not exist in our sport. We hope that it gives the drivers a more stable and predictable platform. Then we can build on that in the weeks and months ahead." Mercedes has previously said that technological improvements will be made to enhance the driver's perception inside the vehicle, which is why the front suspension has been upgraded. Since the crew traveled to Europe and the Monaco Grand Prix, we got to witness something entirely different, and you can really see little grooves where it used to be installed. The front suspension of this automobile has undergone a comprehensive makeover by Mercedes. The wishbone location is now clear. The front upper wishbone, as you can see, it's taller and actually located farther back on the chassis than it was in Miami. Despite being significantly altered, the pushrod is mostly unchanged. The shroud that surrounds it has a completely different form, but the upper wishbone's rear leg, or the part at the back, is essentially in the same place. That still has a mounting point, but completing that would have been an enormous structural task for the crew. The lower wishbone follows a similar path. It is about where it was when it was in Miami. But notice how much thicker the design is now than it was. However, the inboard mounting points, look how much higher than it was, present a significant difficulty for me. Now, if you move the object to where it previously sat, the pickup point was someplace below. The front suspension modifications, which will affect both aerodynamics and mechanics, may be even more exciting. This is the main justification for the team's willingness to launch a sizable improvement package on the winding, barrier-lined streets of Monte Carlo, as one component of the package would not deliver the desired performance on its own. The crew is now paying special attention to the fairing's topology, with a portion of it facing down toward the oncoming wind in order to better control its subsequent behavior, as a result of the shift in the lead arm's position. The new design, as expected, is influenced by earlier grid-wide solutions. However, in order to combine it with the primary design principles of the W14, its design profile is meticulously established. In the revamp, a crucial element of the zero-pod concept has been preserved. The side impact spar, SIS fairing, has been kept before the main side pod assembly. The team had to include the fairing within the side pod alterations since relocating it inside necessitates the homologation of a new chassis. The SIS fairing's outermost winglet, which is located below it, has also been kept but modified to better accommodate the required flow characteristics. The intake has been enlarged, but also shallowed to provide a more conventional undercut, and the SIS fairing is positioned to direct airflow into it. The new Mercedes side pods are not as deeply undercut as the Red Bull or Aston Martin, despite having a horizontal radiator inlet. Mercedes' inability to shape the side pods in this way is most likely caused by the current cockpit placement and side impact structures. Nobody was really impressed with the design of the slightly boxy but still typical solid pod-shaped side pods, which are nonetheless rather tiny. The fact that Mercedes appeared to have neglected to carry its side pods with it instead of that pretty, boxy, quite traditional form of sport gave the teams all a bit of a shock when they arrived in Bahrain. We had a very unusual little radiator duct slit and hardly any side pods at all. Additionally, the upper from the impact structure, since there was no strong pull to expose it. And it has its own little housing up here, which sparked some debate, especially early in the season with Red Bull, because the mirror support here also stands out on its own. Support for the building is exposed on that top side. The side impact structures had to be placed on every single car, which is one of the reasons the team was forced to make that decision. But they essentially anticipated pursuing it for the remainder of the year. Of course, when we got to Monaco, we saw that these ideas had been completely redesigned to be much more mainstream. Therefore, we assert that certain design elements must still be present in a 2023 Formula One car. The exposed side impact structural support is still extremely visible here, almost in the upper wing design. However, the support is now much wider and extends the whole length of this, and you can see that it is reversing direction the entire way there. It is a very typical support design for this part of the automobile. The floor is little less exposed at the base of that side impact structure, or the base of that support, but you can still see the bulge there for the lower side impact structure. And as a result, the aerodynamic performance of the automobile is affected in a somewhat different way. Indeed, considerably differently. And you can see it a little bit more obviously when you look at the radiator, duct, and intake itself. Beneath the well, you can see this large conventional form, which is the side impact support structure. And you can see everything down there. That represents a radical transformation. Under the bodywork, the alteration is not merely aerodynamic. So, in addition to the ducts that are visible, there is also a duct that is concealed within the bodywork and can't be seen in this photo. It resembles a canal made of carbon fiber. That brings you to the heat exchangers, coolers, or radiators, if you like to refer to them as such. It will be difficult to see just how the upgrades work at this kind of track, but I'm hopeful that it puts us a little bit closer to these guys. I don't think we'll be fighting for a win necessarily, but hopefully more than a fight, Hamilton said. There are a lot of people on the team that have had all the success that we've had in the past. There are a lot of people that haven't had that success yet, and they're super hungry. I'm really encouraged when I do go back to the factory and see just how hard everyone's working. He continued. Last year, we were a little bit lost in terms of how to fix the issue that we had. I feel like I've found the North Star. They know exactly where they need to go, and we're working on how to get there. But the amount of work that's gone in is incredible. I'm very grateful for the hard work. I've been so excited to get in the car and feel these changes. I feel that hopefully puts us on the right path now to progress forward and try and catch the guys ahead. During this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix, will Mercedes surprise the rest of the field? Share your guesses with us in the comments section below. This course is the only one that gives the other teams a chance. So it will be interesting to watch how this race plays out. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy the racing.